What's going on, everyone? Nick Smith-Koblitz here from Paranormal Investigations. Great as always to be here with you. Now, my team and I get asked all the time about our investigation tools and techniques, and in today's video I wanted to address something that comes up all the time, and that is the so-called flashlight trick. If you're a paranormal investigator or watch any of the paranormal reality television shows, you already probably know what I'm talking about. But if you don't, basically it involves using a mini maglite flashlight that's been unscrewed until there's an imperfect contact between the on and off positions as a method for communicating with ghosts or spirits. Sound far-fetched? Well, in today's video, I wanted to share with you guys some of the facts and science behind this effect and demonstrate just how susceptible it is to producing false positives, and why I believe it's doing more harm than good to the field of paranormal investigation. So the flashlight trick, or flashlight sessions as they've become known in the paranormal field, really started gaining popularity in the mid-2000s after they were demonstrated on the show Ghost Hunters, but some groups claim to have used it before that. This involves using a flashlight, specifically the mini maglite incandescent model with twist on-off. It won't work if you have a push on-off or the LED model. But the origin of this trick is not really important, and the mechanics behind it are fairly simple. And I'm going to demonstrate. But first, I wanted to give a huge shout out to a fellow YouTuber named Valskabar. Valskaber. I'm sorry, man, I'm probably totally butchering your name. He did an amazing video on the flashlight trick all the way back in 2012. I'll link it up here for you guys. I mean, it is the most comprehensive analysis of this effect I've ever seen. So if you don't believe me, or even if you do, go check out his video, show some love. Great job, man. So we've got our mini maglite flashlight here. Again, this is an incandescent model with twist on off, fresh batteries inside. We're going to take a look at the inside of this thing so I can show you guys exactly what's going on. In order to turn these models on, you have to unscrew the front or head. At the bottom of the handle is the battery compartment. These flashlights take two AA batteries, which rest on a spring inside that compartment. At the front end of the flashlight is the bulb assembly. The bulb is mounted on a plastic gasket with a small degree of play to it. With the battery mounted and the rear cover connected, the spring in the battery compartment exerts pressure on the battery and in turn the bulb assembly at the other end. When the head of the flashlight is screwed down, the bulb assembly is pushed down into the flashlight, breaking contact with the head and turning the flashlight off. When the head is loosened, the spring expands, exerting pressure on the bulb assembly and turning the light on. So to set up a flashlight session is fairly straightforward. All I'm going to do is take my mini maglite flashlight and turn it on until it's just between the on and off position, creating an imperfect contact within the unit. It actually works better, or rather you'll start getting malfunctions faster if you've had the flashlight on for a couple minutes, or even just sitting in your pocket, because it'll be warm when you start. It often takes a couple minutes of fiddling to find the sweet spot, and while you're doing that, obviously you're holding the flashlight and the light is on, so the components inside are heating up and expanding. Once you find the sweet spot, you set it down and you start asking your questions. And it will appear to be off, and the components inside that light are shrinking. And after a few minutes, those components contract back to the on position and your flashlight illuminates. The components begin heating up again, and the process repeats all over. This is not the result of a ghost or even anything paranormal, but simply the thermal properties of the materials in the flashlight, specifically the little reflector dish here at the front. And the same effect can be replicated in a controlled setting. That means that without even being in an allegedly haunted location, these flashlights are producing erroneous behavior, which will just lead to false positives on your investigation. Now, the response time or intervals between the flashlight illuminating will vary slightly with temperature and humidity to an extent, and this is where reality television producers will have to rely on a little creative editing to match the flashlight's illumination with the investigator's questions. The greatest flaw inherent in this technique is that you're using a piece of equipment that has been deliberately made to malfunction as a research device. Since it's been demonstrated that these flashlights will produce identical, non-paranormal effects under controlled conditions, there's absolutely no way of discerning if the flashlight is illuminating because of a ghost. Using flawed methodology like this not only reflects poorly on your own research, but that of the paranormal field at large. No self-respecting scientist would ever consider the results of a flashlight session, no matter how dramatic, because you're using a piece of equipment that's been deliberately made to malfunction. We don't use broke tools to do the job, guys. If we ever want our work as paranormal investigators to be taken seriously by the scientific community, we have got to hold our methodologies to a much higher standard. And part of that means using technologies the way they were designed to be used, and abandoning gimmicky techniques that at the end of the day, we know can yield false positive data. But maybe you're like, hey Nick, I've been using the flashlight trick for years and it works great for me. Well, if you're gonna keep using the flashlight trick on your investigations, I would recommend always having other, more accurate data to correlate it with. Video or audio recordings, or better yet, environmental data like temperature, humidity, electromagnetic or radiation levels. That way, if your flashlight does start acting strange, you have other information to back up or discount the event with. Better yet, why not get a ghost to try to turn on one of these mag lights? That would impress even me. So that's it, everyone. Those are the facts behind the ghost hunting flashlight trick. I hope you guys found this information helpful. The point of this video is not to offend anyone, even if you are using the flashlight trick on your investigations, but to share with you guys the facts so we can all improve our investigations. As always, hit that like button if you enjoyed today's video, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, and I will see you guys next time. Peace!